Close enough to the microphone because I can do more wide angle and then.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's close.
Okay.
Like, say something and we'll toss it out.
Hello, you're right. My name is Miras. We're here in Almaty. It's a hot August day here. Obviously, much chillier today than what it used to be like a month ago.
Hey, Mira, so, like, it's been a year now, like, approximately already a year.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, and we're here at Lepim Vadim restaurant. This is your restaurant.
Yeah.
Um,
Another one. Yeah.
yeah, another one. How many do you have? Two, right?
7.
7 restaurants?
Yeah. So basically 6 of these Lepim and Varim ones, the dumpling places, and the one we've been to, Shoreditch, is just a single standalone restaurant in Astana,
Nice,
in the capital. Yeah.
nice. Are they, is Lepim and Vadim, are they all, like, in Almaty, or?
No, so there are 4 of them here in Almaty, the largest city of Kazakhstan, and 2 of them are in Astana.
Yeah.
So that Shoreditch one is obviously my own idea, my concept from scratch, from ground up. But this one is a franchise business, so yeah.
Nice.
So this chain business
Nice.
franchise. Yeah.
So, like, what got you into this restaurant business from the start?
You mean this one in particular, or generally in
Either
restaurant?
this one or Shoreditch also? both.
Okay, so in 2012, during the year when the Summer Olympics in London took place, I graduated in the UK, so I studied in the University of the Arts. So because there was no option for me to actually stay on, because they've stiffened the rules for the foreign students, they could no longer stay for a year just looking for a job. So I had to do something. So one of the options for me was to go to Myanmar to do oil business, because, well, that's what my family used to do back in the day. And then the other option was for me to come to Kazakhstan, and my brother, who's lived here 2 years before me, who came back 2 years prior to that, he said, let's go to Astana. At that time it was like a new sort of fresh upcoming city, which to an extent it still is. So we went to do grocery retail business. So we opened, in the first year we opened 2 small convenience stores, very small. In the UK you call them news agents, but I mean, depending where you are, like very small, up to 3,000 square feet, like small convenience stores. And then by the time we sold it, actually last year, there were 22 of them.
Yeah.
So having done supermarkets, it was only natural for us to sort of go into restaurants, because obviously the margins are higher. Supermarkets business, to be honest, it was very, very tough, because you were always working with very, very thin, razor thin margins. A lot of hard work. So yeah, and also one has to take into account the fact that in Kazakhstan, like since 2013 until today, dollar has been appreciating in value. So our national currency was always sort of losing power every single year, and we had to adapt. It's been very tough. So restaurants, we thought it would be much easier for us to open, because we had like good experience in setting up the productions facilities for the for the cakes, all those sort of things that we used to sell in our supermarkets. So yeah, in 2015 we opened our first restaurant. It was very good in the first. Well, actually, it's still doing okay. But because we had Expo in 2017 in Astana, we had an influx of so many foreigners,
Right.
and years leading up to the Expo. So you're looking at sort of 60 to 70,000 people in your city. Always, those are expats, because they're not there in the city with their family. They wouldn't cook in their homes. So they're always looking somewhere to eat, and we obviously appealed to them, because having studied in the UK, I tried to sort of replicate the vibe, if you like, of
Right.
Shoreditch area,
Yeah.
which is like a very, I don't know, in New York terms, that's probably something like meatpacking district, and I have no idea. It's a very creative sort of area in London. So yeah, we were very successful. But the thing is, when you have a restaurant where you have large menu of 50 items, like from starters, main courses, soups, and that sort of thing. Your food cost is always higher compared to these ones here, because here we only prepare dumplings and that's it.
Right.
So you have less square footage in the kitchen, less personnel, less food cost, because you buy less, grocery things to begin with. So in terms of business, obviously this one is, more mature. It was a very mature step for me to actually step out from, Shoreditch, which was like a proper restaurant, if you like, and this one is mono concept. So it was a natural transition for me to go from like a broad menu to mono concept. And the thing is, in the first 3 years, especially in the first few months when you open something, if something goes better than you expected, you start thinking like, I must be really good, and then like offers started coming in, like, can you open a restaurant here and there? All sort of landlords started contacting me, but I was actually very strict with myself. I said no, until I learn everything there is to learn in this business, I'm not going to sort of scale, you know what I mean?
Franchise, yeah.
No, not franchise, just scale, but
scale,
open a second restaurant. Because, a common mistake a lot of people do, they scale, like after half a year, they learn something, you know what I mean? It's not a very safe place, because there'll always be ups and downs, you know what I mean?
Скажите, куда мы идем?
Здравствуйте, друзья, мы идем на Даниловский рынок, на самый старый гастромаркет Москвы, чтобы посмотреть, какая там красивая точка у сети пельменных «Лепим и варим».
Привет, друзья! Привет, сексуальные люди Мирас! Мы сегодня подписали 2 договора. Это значит то, что в этом году 2 точки в Алмате. Лепим и варим.
Публично я людям говорил об этом так, в приватных разговорах, что в Алмате мы будем, там-то, но до подписания я публично нигде не говорил, так что...
Как говорится, now officially.
Да, вот сейчас могу расслабиться и сказать. В Алмате я на Панфилова, чуть ниже оперного театра, и второе это внутри рестомаркета в торговом центре «Форум».
Hardly a progress, to be honest, especially the last couple of years. They've been very, very tough for our business, so we haven't really opened anything because, COVID restrictions, profits were, virtually non-existent. So actually there's a story how I found Lepim and Varin in particular, because we both opened our first restaurants, like me and those guys, the franchise owners opened our restaurants in 2015, sort of by the end of the year. So they opened in November, I opened in December, so we're pretty much have the same experience, if you like. So it was my habit to always check TripAdvisor in my city, because my restaurant was always number 3 on TripAdvisor in Astana among 800 restaurants. So once I was in Moscow, and it was just my habit, like you'd normally, like whenever you're on the street, you check your Instagram, that sort of thing. So my first thing to always check was TripAdvisor. So I just looked at the phone. It's like, oh my god, these are the restaurants. I have no idea. Like I don't know these. Oh shoot, I'm in Moscow. Okay, so number 1 out of 16,000 restaurants was this one here, Lepim and Varim. Not this one, but I mean like this brand. They only had 1 restaurant back in the day. It was very, very small. So I sort of had a feeling that I need to go and see what it looks like. So I went and saw, like, it was very, very, like maybe half the size of this one. It's very cozy. Like it actually, broke a lot of my, perceptions of like what a dumpling place should look like, because in many people's, mind is actually, it has to be something like old style Soviet, dumpling. But the first time I saw Lepim and Varim, it was something completely different. There's jazz playing, very cozy, very, lofty, if you like. They were in like a very old building, like, with, that worn out texture, very rusty, that sort of thing. So actually, I felt very natural I started thinking of opening my own dumpling place in Kazakhstan, but then it would be a very bad strategic decision, because for me to learn all the processes that these guys gave me would take maybe close to from 2 to 3 years. And then if a real franchise opened, we would be in straight competition. So that would have been a bad thing. And the first time I wanted to contact them, they didn't do franchises yet, so because they just opened.
A franchise of Shoreditch in Astana.
Not really. I don't think it's very difficult to replicate the sort of the atmosphere, because that one is a more particular, more special restaurant, if you like.
there's so many, you know, variables such as, you know, the music, the, you know, even the menu. It's very hard to sort of teach someone to, you know, replicate that. So it'd be very hard to, yeah, make a chain out of that. Yeah.
Is there like a special story you have, like how you, like when George was just like starting, anything like that?
Many stories actually. Yeah, I mean it's been what, close to 7 years now. Yeah.
Like what's the most interesting one? I think.
Actually, well, I mean, as you might know, I'm actually very sort of out there on Instagram, like on
Yeah.
social media, but it didn't used to be that way. So once I was serving, it was like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks since we opened. So I was serving the guests, like I was waiting the tables, and I spilled, I think, some sort of cocktail or drink on a lady with her friends. But honestly, like there were like 4 of them, and there were 3 of them, and there was like one spare seat with nothing on it. So I just spilled Coke on that chair. But
Yeah.
they were like so furious and like angry,
Oh, yeah.
so they were like fuming, and I said like, okay, the whole thing is on us. We do apologize. Like, and she thought I'm a waiter because it's not a very common thing to see in Kazakhstan. Like that the owner is actually waiting the tables. So
Yeah.
I apologize, but then at the end of the day, it was not enough of an apology to them. So I had to go back and come back again and say apologies again, that sort of thing. So I was like,
I see, yeah.
yeah, because I was nervous. So like one of
Yeah.
my, you know, waiters, she saw me nervous and said like, can you like, boss, can you go and chill? I'm just gonna wait this table myself. So I
Okay.
just disappeared to them,
Okay,
obviously.
nice.
But I was nervous. I went to smoke.
Yeah.
And then the next day, she wrote something on Facebook saying that she had like, you know, profiteroles to go take away.
Yeah.
They were bitten, and then we presented her with the videos from the kitchen where it was packaged,
Yeah.
and then she completely changed the subject, like the topic. So it didn't bother that it was bitten before. Now it's like the fact that the person who put it, our sous chef Dominic Gomez at the time, didn't have a hat, which is compulsory in Kazakhstan. If you work in a kitchen, you have to wear a hat.
Right.
Yeah. So you know, in these sort of situations, especially on social media, sometimes when you start a fight or an argument, by the end of the argument, you lose what your original fight was about. You know.
Right, yeah.
I mean, so, and that
Of course.
girl was like saying, I have 3,000 friends on Facebook, I'm gonna destroy you, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And from that time onwards, I said, okay, no longer will I take, you know, piss from these sort of, you know, situations. I have to grow my own brand, and like
Right.
if things like this happen, I'll just have to, yeah.
Yeah. What about like with Lipim Varim?
Well, I was more mature then, you know,
Yeah.
more of an established person. Oh, actually, there is a funny story. So, you know, Lepin Environment in Moscow, they were so famous that the magazine Time Out called them the number 1 casual restaurant of the year 2016 or something. So they won the
Yeah.
award, and they were very big. So in many cities around Russia, Kazakhstan, and all former Soviet countries, they were like slightly change of name, but you know, fake Lepim and Varim, so Varim, Parim, Klim, Jarim, whatever. So
Жарим парим.
yeah, there was one in Astana. I remember it was called not Lepim and Varim, but just Lepim Varim.
Yeah.
So by the time I was gonna open in Astana, there were already 3 fake Lepim and Varims owned by the same person.
Wow.
And obviously I had to contact them for them to make them change the name.
Yeah.
And the person was like, "Oh no, just do your best. Oh no, nothing will happen. Just bugger off, mate." I said, okay, but obviously if something happened, we would win the case
Yeah.
in the court. But yeah, he changed the name. But the problem was, the place was so shitty. Excuse my French. So, you know, when we just opened in our first place, it was like a few days into the opening, and
Right.
like people were passing by and like, "Do you want to go there?" So nah. People were just passing by like, why you say no? I just, you know, I chased them and said like, why are you saying no? I have been to your place. Like, where? The other one, like on the right bank of the river in Astana.
Right,
So,
right,
like,
yeah.
But we were never there. This is the first one in Kazakhstan. We just opened like 3 days ago. I was like, no. Well, like, why are you lying? Like, I've been to your restaurant like on like in different ones. I said, no, those are fake ones. And it took me roughly maybe half a year to explain to all the people that all the bad experiences that they had had to do with the fake one.
Right.
And also, sometimes like they would, write, reviews on our
Right.
Google, TripAdvisor and that sort of thing. Like the waiters are not polite, the service is crap. And I said, we never had waiters. The waiters, the fake restaurant, they have waiters. We don't have waiters.
Yeah.
We're self-service, like fast casual restaurant. So yeah, we like that legacy that was left to us by
Yeah.
the fake one. Well,
Right.
we had to fight it, but eventually,
Eventually, you did.
yeah, we.
And
won,
this
yeah.
was, what year was this?
Sorry,
What year was this?
2018,
Yeah. And you opened this like particular one in what year?
2019 September.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Well, I like it. I like the
it's my
interior,
favorite one. It's
the
my favorite
wood.
one, yeah. Even
I like the wood
even
side,
the
yeah.
original franchise owners from Moscow,
Sorry.
when they visit here,
Yeah.
they absolutely they got it. Like, oh my god, this is amazing. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the interior design is nice.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah.
Nice, nice. And last question. Any advice? Do you have like any advice for like startups, for like starting entrepreneurs in the restaurant business or any other business?
I would say, one of the main factors that, ruin, like a good idea is nothing. Good concept, good idea. We all have great ideas, like sort of vision in our head, how to sort of make, I don't know, some sort of Lebanese restaurant that we have once seen there or here, like in central Paris or in Beirut, whatever. The idea is nothing before the execution, but the problem is, one of the main reasons a lot of people fail is lack of experience, lack of sort of maturity, if you like. And in order to obtain that, well, I mean, there are a few ways. Obviously, you can open your own restaurant and then lose all the money, and yeah, that would be a very, very expensive way of obtaining any knowledge whatsoever. So, my advice would be to get experience in one of the largest like chains, especially Starbucks, Ritz-Carlton, because the trainings that they bring, especially for the service, you can always use that knowledge to later train your own staff.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just enormous. So don't rush things. Get your experience down. 1 or 2 years. Don't pick it for the salary. Just pick the crappiest opening there is in large worldwide chains such as Starbucks or the one you admire. Don't settle for your aunt's uncle's restaurant. It doesn't count as experience because it would be different. Get get the best world experience that there is available in your region. So, and that's most of the time that is not your uncle, whatever friend.
Right.
Most of the time that's the big guys.
Yeah. Starbucks.
World
all
leaders.
that,
Yeah. Actually, I mean, it's very easy to choose. Just pick number one
Right.
player in their current market, and I can't think of anyone being more number one than Starbucks and coffee,
Right.
as far as coffee shops go. You know what I mean? Because yeah, you can work like in a small coffee shop, but at the end of the day, a lot of things you'll start doing intuitively. Whereas when you open a restaurant, you have to have like more systematic knowledge. So to build a system, how the service works, the shifts, many things like how to greet. There's always a system in Starbucks. The books, it's all classified. You can't, obviously I was actually trying to get my hands on one, but you can't find them because they're all closed. If by a certain stage in my restaurant experience, like my knowledge wasn't enough anymore, and I wished I had that taken not from any college, because I know people who go to fancy universities in Switzerland, Marbella, wherever, to study hospitality, but you're not going to get real experience. I mean, any experience better than you would get from the real industry. You know what I mean? Tell you, actually, you can stay there and like work your way up as a career, or you can just
Yeah.
or you can just quit and then use the knowledge, but
Use
don't
the
rush.
knowledge, right.
Yeah. Because trust me, those guys do have a knowledge or two. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, thanks so much. Come to New York sometime. I'll show you around.
Yeah,
Definitely.
hopefully, yeah.
Sometime soon, hopefully. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, look, I think I spent misproportionately more time in like eastern coast of the US and like than the west. I mean, I obviously like the eastern part more, but yeah,
Right.
certainly, yeah.
Nice. All right. Nice. Thank you.
Okay, mate.
All right. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. Hello.